I became a zookeeper for the day to see what it's really like. At the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, you get to see giraffes, gorillas, and grizzly bears up close. But behind the scenes, zookeepers are caring for animals, preparing food, and a lot of other unusual tasks that most people don't ever think about. So join me as I get an inside look at what it takes to be a zookeeper. The Cheyenne Mountain Zoo is one of the most unique spots in Colorado Springs. It's built into the side of the mountain with incredible views and animal encounters happening all around you. What really makes this place special though is the people behind the scenes. The zookeepers here do some seriously hard work every single day. So stick around as we learn about wild animals, the care they require, and we'll see how they saved a species that was deemed extinct. And there's no better place to start than right here with the giraffes. So I'm here with Diana. She's one of the giraffe specialists here at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, and she's going to be teaching me a little bit about giraffe care and giraffe training.
Welcome. Right? Yeah, we're excited to have you. Get to be a giraffe trainer for this afternoon.
Hey there, big guy.
So this is Chimbili. He followed us over here.
Yes, he did.
So one of the things that we like to do with them is what we call our positive reinforcement training. Anytime that we are asking them to do something, it's always a conversation or a dialogue. So they have the loudest voice in the conversation. So we get to learn little, what we call tells about them, or behaviors that they do that let us know when they're comfortable, when they're less comfortable, or when we need to stop altogether. One of the primary skills that we teach them is a nose target. But anytime he puts his nose on here, we're gonna click, and then it's gonna be followed up with a treat. And then we can kind of move it around. It looks pretty easy, but when you do it, it might be a little bit trickier. Okay. You'll hold on to your target stick. But I'm gonna give you a training pouch so you can be official.
Yeah, definitely. I want to be as official as possible.
Yeah, so you'll attach that kind of to the backside of your hip. So they've got that really long tongue, and they're really, really smart, and they're really good at using that tongue to navigate into spots that you don't want them to.
Yes.
So I'm gonna pretend I'm a giraffe nose. Yep.
Quick, and then treat.
Absolutely. A couple targets with him. There you go, nice. Our target behavior is what we like to call a foundation behavior, which pretty much means it's one thing that we want them to know before we ask them to do any other behavior. It tells them that if they put their nose there, they're gonna get that yummy treat. And the importance of that is that we can build upon that. So if we're looking to do a blood draw behavior, where we're asking them to keep their nose nice and still on a target, and we're allowed to touch their neck, if that nose comes off the target, that's their way of saying no thank you. So it's their primary way of communicating with us. His name's Mashama.
Mashama.
So we've got Mashama and Chimbili. So he is really skilled at following that target.
You really got your tongue going, don't
He
you?
does. He's really good at extending that tongue pretty far out. Those tongues are deceiving of what they can get.
Yes, they're so strong.
They are.
Do you have any fun facts about giraffes that you can share with me?
If you take a box of spaghetti noodles, that's the length of their tongue. So their tongue is about 18 inches in length. They use that tongue primarily to strip all of those leaves off, so pretty strong, as you can see. It's also called a prehensile tongue. So prehensile is just a fancy word for saying hand-like. So you can see they're grabbing it and using it just like we would grab and use our hands to reach for something and then pull it towards our mouth. They have one of the largest hearts. Their blood pressure is about twice of what a human's is, and they have specialized valves throughout their body. So when they bend all the way down to grab a drink of water, they don't get the rush of blood coming up to their head and cause them to like pass out. Each of their brown spots act like little air conditioning units. So there's a cluster of blood vessels underneath them, and it helps to dissipate or give off heat. So the reason why they have these really big necks and pretty big surface area is to give off a lot of heat. Nice, look at that. Okay, beautiful, beautiful hand.
These tree branches is what they eat normally, like in the wild?
Yes, so they eat over like 100 different species of acacia. So they're using their tongues and stripping off the leaves. Giraffe only have teeth at the front of their mouth on the bottom. They don't have upper teeth here. And so our team goes through over 1,000 pounds of tree branches every single day to feed them, which is pretty impressive. So they have very physically demanding jobs of getting all of those tree branches, what we like to call bundling them up, presenting them in a safe way, and doing that 4 to 5 times every single day. So they have a really, what we like to call enriched lifestyle. Every single day we keep different ones in for hoof care, and hoof health is really important. It's a great indicator of their overall health. So we're constantly looking at their feet and making sure that there's no debris that we wouldn't want to be in there. So again, they're walking around on all sorts of natural substrate. So we are brushing and picking their feet out every single day, and then just making sure that their foot looks really healthy overall. So getting hands on them, they're trained, they know the difference between their left foot and their right foot. So they're wearing their feet potentially differently in the wild, and so we try to replicate that and provide them with healthy hooves through our hoof care program. They all have a huge personality, so it's really great to get to know them, and that's one of the things that is so wonderful, I think, about our feeding opportunity, is that our guests really get a chance to experience, you know, the slime of their tongue, or the way that they'll wrap their tongue around your finger, or maybe get to touch the side of their faces as they're feeding them. The giraffe feeding area is open as first thing in the day, as soon as you get here at 9 o'clock when the zoo opens, and then until we close at 5 o'clock. So you'll have access to them in their outside space as well as their inside space to be able to feed them throughout the day. Yeah.
I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
How did I do as a honorary zookeeper for the day?
I think you did great.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was really
Yeah.
I was really impressed. Your click timing is really, really spot on. So I think, yeah, that's like a 10 out of 10 right there.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Very much appreciate your time today.
Yeah, absolutely, it was great hanging out with you.
Being face to face with the giraffes is something I won't forget. Feeding and watching how they respond, you really start to see how smart and gentle they are, and how much care and trust goes into working with them every single day. Diana gave me a 10 out of 10 on my giraffe training, definitely boosting my confidence. We'll see how long that lasts, because up next I'm headed to the grizzly bears to learn how the keepers work with one of the most powerful animals at the zoo. I'm here with Jessie. She's one of the animal keepers here at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi, I am Jessie. I'm one of the animal keepers here at Rocky Mountain Wild. We also take care of Asian Highlands. So what that consists of is the whole top half of the zoo, from the wolves all the way down to our leopards. And then we also take care of our African lions.
And so what are you going to have me doing with you today?
Awesome. So you're going to see our bear demo. We do this every single day. And then you're going to be helping take care of Emmett and show off kind of a natural behavior and a non-natural behavior, and see if we can scare some guests.
Little did Jessie know, I was the one that was scared going into this. In all of my outdoor experiences, I've been told to stay away from grizzly bears. But now, I'm about to be face to face with one.
This is Emmett. So we have 2 male grizzly bears here at Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. This is Emmett, and then over in the other yard is our other bear, Digger. These bears were unfortunately nuisance bears. So what that means is that Emmett and Digger were actually both wild at one point. They got too close to humans one too many times and ultimately had to be removed from the wild. We built this entire exhibit just for Emmett and Digger. They came to us in 2008. This behavior not only lets us see those beautiful claws of his and the beautiful feet of his, but it's also how we trim his nails. So the biggest way that we can tell our bears apart are by these nails. So if you look at his nails, Emmett's are very long, very dull, and very thick. That's actually not a typical grizzly bear claw. If you're able to look at Digger's, his are much more typical of what a grizzly bear claw should look like. Does anyone want to take a guess on what Digger likes to do in his free time? Yeah, it's digging. So these guys are actually natural diggers, and their claws are kind of shovel-like. So what they'll do is they'll kind of use those claws and use them as shovels to do all of that landscaping work that you see. So we'll ask him to put his claws up on that fence just like that. We hold an electric Dremel right underneath his nails, and he actually puts the pressure on the Dremel. So he's basically doing it himself, which is really cool. They get to try a lot of food. So guess what? We have some bougie bears. Yep, they have afforded to become a little picky. So we're gonna play a game with you guys. We're gonna see if you can guess what Emmett will like and not like. First one on the list is a raspberry. It's got bear in the name, right? Okay, I see a lot of thumbs up. Let's see. That was a thumbs up from Emmett for sure. What about, I don't know what that is. A tomatillo. Oh, I see a lot of thumbs down. I actually don't know about this either. Let's see. What do you think? No. That was a big thumbs down from Emmett. What about a peach? Yeah, nice sweet peach. That was a thumbs up. Broccoli. I see a lot of broccoli haters here. Let's see, Emmett. Absolutely not. Get that out of here. And you'll notice that Emmett is going to work pretty darn hard for that cup of sunflower seeds. So something that we can do to help make sure our bears stay wild is, if you do feed the local wildlife, removing those bird feeders to put them inside at night when the birds are sleeping and the bears are awake, so we don't invite bears into our yard and they would have to get a strike against them. All right, Emmett did a magic trick. Did you know he's a magician? He turned this cup of bear seeds into a cup of bear slobber. Who wants to smell it? Yeah, you want to smell it?
I'll smell it.
Give it a good whiff. Tell me if it smells good or bad.
I never thought I'd be close enough to smell a grizzly's breath, but I was shocked that Emmett's slobber didn't smell at all.
Our bears actually have pretty good hygiene. We brush their teeth. So a lot of the times when you do smell their breath, it is actually pretty clean. Emmett's going to stretch out for us. We can take a number out of his book. So let's all take some moments to stretch out because Emmett has a really good yoga routine that he's doing. Yeah. And the reason why he needs to get stretched out is that he has been working on something really cool for us. Has anyone seen a movie with a really scary bear in it? Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, terrifying. Emmett has been working on his best Hollywood bear impersonation, but in order to do this, I do need a Hollywood movie director. You smelled the bear slobber, you gotta come on in. So come on in. So I'm gonna have you ask him what you actually think is a true scary bear. You ready for that? You up for that challenge?
Yeah.
Without further ado, this is Emmett Hollywood Bear and his Hollywood movie director. You guys ready?
You ready, Emmett?
Action.
All right, up.
Roar.
Rar.
Roar. 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 Roar.
Good job.
All right, who was terrified? I saw some of you crying, running away. Yeah. Well, let's give it up for our Hollywood movie director. That was fantastic. So if you were ever out in the wilderness and you did see a bear that's standing up and he's swiping and roaring, you walked onto a movie set. But if you were out camping or hiking and you did see a bear standing up on its hind legs, chances are you did not startle that bear. He's just getting a really good look at his surroundings. That is a curious bear. He doesn't really get a really good look at his surroundings when he's on all fours, but he can get a really good look at his surroundings when he's up on those hind legs. They can get about 7 to 8 feet tall when they do that.
So it turns out Emmett and Digger are nothing to be scared of. They are incredibly trained and so intelligent. I couldn't stop laughing at their goofy personalities and fun tricks. I now have a new respect for grizzlies. They are more curious than they are ferocious. One of the coolest things about the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo are these live animal demonstrations. They're open to everyone and give you a chance to learn directly from the keepers while seeing the animals up close in a way that's fun and educational. So it turns out zookeepers have to eat too, so I'm gonna go grab some lunch before we visit the next animals. The Cheyenne Mountain Zoo has a lot of really great food options, so I'm gonna head into Pizza with a View for some gourmet pizza. After lunch, the focus shifted to conservation. I'm going behind the scenes to learn about the endangered Wyoming toads and the role the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo plays in helping protect the species. I'm with Jeff Boffman. He's the Wyoming toad and black-footed ferret manager. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
We breed Wyoming toads here at Cheyenne Mountain Zoo for reintroduction into the wild. They were declared extinct in the early 1990s, and we're one of the few facilities that breed them. In order to get numbers to increase in the wild, we put tadpoles out there, but then we also raise them to 1 or 2 years of age so that we have more mature animals out there in the wild to breed. Only about 4 of every 1,000 tadpoles we release make it to maturity. So this is a way we can sort of speed that process up, help overcome all the early life stage hurdles, and get actual toads out there to breed and have offspring in their natural habitat. They are found in the Laramie Plains, about 50 square kilometers, so a really small area. They have this unique feature, it's called fused boss, and that distinguishes them from other toads in the habitat. They eat small ants and other insects, so they have different characteristics and features that distinguish them from other guys in the area.
Okay. So why were these such an endangered species?
Yeah, these guys are affected by the chytrid fungus. It's a fungus that is global, and unfortunately it causes their skin to actually build up thick, and they can't really osmoregulate or breathe through their skin. Some of them end up suffocating and dying, and it also causes organ failure and other issues. Pretty devastating out in the wild. The chytrid fungus, unfortunately, once it's out in the habitat, we cannot treat the environment. It's a fungus that gets into the soil, it's carried by water. Humans actually spread it from one place to another. So it's really important as a responsible outdoor recreator to make sure to disinfect your gear when you're going from one water source to another.
That's good to know. So you said in the 1990s there were about 10 remaining. How many have you released into the wild now through this program?
We've released around 51,814 tadpoles, 293 metamorphs, 1,729 1- and 2-year-old Head Start toads.
Wow. Well, can you walk me through a little bit of what it takes to care for these guys?
Some of our challenges are nutritional, so we breed a lot of our own insects here, making sure they get the right diet and nutrition. And then water quality is always important, especially when we're dealing with the tadpoles. And then just making sure that they actually are chytrid free. So we treat this area as a biosecure space. We don't bring anything in that's been set down outside, or we disinfect our shoes. So there are several precautions that we take to make sure these guys are healthy before we actually put them out into the wild. So these guys eat these small little insects at this stage. One unique feature is their toes will start twitching. We don't really know what it means, but all toads do this when they're eating. We jokingly like to say they're excited about it, but I'm sure there's a biological reason for it.
Oh yeah, look at them go. Tell me a little bit about how you go about releasing these guys back into the wild.
So we have two different stages of release. The head start toads, usually we try to do it when they're emerging from hibernation naturally, so it's usually end of May or early June. And then we usually release tadpoles, sort of gradual acclimation to their site water. And then you pour them out and they swim and disappear pretty quick. So every guest to Cheyenne Mountain Zoo receives 75 cents with every admission. We've raised over $6 million for conservation through our Quarters for Conservation program. Guests can decide in the entry plaza where they're going to contribute their allocation towards, and so the Wyoming toad is one of those projects.
So when you come to the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, you're not just here to see the animals, you actually help protect them. Quarters for Conservation gives you a simple way to protect wildlife, support habitats, and give endangered animals a better chance at survival. I snuck away from my responsibilities to ride the slide really quick. I've been looking at it all day. It looks so much fun. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going beyond the animals to see everything else the zoo has to offer. I'm here with CJ Brown. He's the director of guest experiences. At the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, there's a lot more to do than just see the animals, and so we're gonna talk to CJ and he'll tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Today we're at the top of our Skyride ski lift. It's the Mountaineer Skyride at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, built in 2008. It's a ski lift that goes over exhibits inside of the zoo, takes you to the very top where you can look out over the eastern plains. It's one of the many attractions and experiences you can see at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo.
Yeah, we just took the ride up and it was really cool to be above the enclosures and we could see the grizzly bears and the tiger and the mountain goats.
It's a different experience for
Yeah.
sure for a zoo. Yeah, to be able
Awesome.
to see them from that aerial point of view. It takes up to and sometimes over 500 hours of maintenance to keep the Skyride running a year. We get over 115,000 riders average a year, so it's a one of a kind in the United States. We operate the Skyride most night events, but it's $5 for adults, $4 for children. Members do get a discount, and they can also buy group tickets for their whole membership party and family. But yeah, when you get up here, there's a kids' playground, an authentic yurt, bathrooms, rock climbing wall, and just an area to have a picnic with your family and enjoy the scenery up here. So
Yeah,
you can
it's
see,
beautiful.
yeah, it is beautiful. And you can see the shrine from here as well, the Will Rogers Shrine of the Sun.
Yeah, I see it up there.
Yeah, that's something that everyone should absolutely see as well. The elevation gain is interesting. It's at the bottom of the zoo. We're at 6,700 feet, just about.
Okay.
And up here, it's about 450-ish elevation gain. So we're at about 7,100, to in between 7,100 and 7,200 up here.
And we can see Garden of the Gods up here. We
Yep.
can see downtown Colorado Springs.
Yep. And then Curve Reservoir down there, where the Athletics Country Club is. Most of Colorado Springs, actually, you can see.
Yeah.
You can see all the way up to Monument from here, and then all the way down to Fountain. It's experiences like this that has gotten us to #2 in the nation.
It kind of feels like you're out in the wild.
Exactly.
I mean, the landscape being on the side of the mountain.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a mountain goat right in front of you. You're like, wow, this is
Absolutely.
what it's actually like.
Yeah.
I will say the Skyride's a nice little break from walking.
It is,
you know?
yes. Yeah,
Just
it
being
is.
able to chill and
Yeah, absolutely.
take in the views.
Mm-hmm. This is the local operator booth. This is where the main controller computer is for the whole entire Skyride. Is where everything is communicating through.
Yeah.
There are hundreds and hundreds of safety features on the Skyride.
I'm sure.
All of it comes through this computer, and if any codes or anything goes wrong, this screen will let us know. The ride will automatically stop, and they come in here to troubleshoot.
Okay.
This is just one of 3 operating panels.
Okay.
This is the main one inside the booth, but our operators stand outside in the middle of the platform because they're able to watch for guest safety, communicate all of the instructions with guests, and just have eyes on the whole thing. So from there you can control everything just like you can control in here.
So I shouldn't press the big red button?
Nope. I mean, if you do, nothing horrible is gonna happen other than it'll stop the ride and it'll confuse the operator. But
Yeah. Spending the day here at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo really puts things into perspective. Getting to see the animals up close is amazing. But what stood out most to me is the amount of care, effort, and passion the zookeepers put in every single day to give these animals the best life possible. When you visit the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, you support the zookeepers, the care, and the conservation work happening here. In 2026, Cheyenne Mountain Zoo is celebrating 100 years of growth in animal care, conservation, education, and community. In addition to sharing their legacy, historical fun facts, and inviting the public to share their CMZoo memories throughout the year, they're planning a week-long celebration when the International Center for the Care and Conservation of Giraffe opens this summer. So stay tuned and visit the link in the description below to purchase tickets. Like and subscribe for more videos like this, and leave a comment down below telling us what your favorite animal is.